On the show last night, we told you how the newly radicalized Democratic Party is changing abortion laws in a number of states. In Virginia, a lawmaker called Kathy Tran has introduced a bill that, by her own description, would allow the killing of children as they are being born. We're not exaggerating that, though it sounds like we are. Watch her describe it.
Where it's obvious that a woman is about to give birth. She has physical signs that she is about to give a birth. Would that still be a point at which she could request an abortion if she was so certified? She's dilating.
Mr. Chairman, that would be a decision that the doctor, the physician, and the woman would make.
I understand that. I'm asking if your bill allows that.
My bill would allow that, yes.
Well, that was a blunt description, and it would have horrified many Democrats just a decade ago. It embarrasses some even today. One of Tran's co-sponsors has disavowed the bill. She claims she never even read it. Many others, though, have jumped to Tran's defense, and the governor of Virginia, Ralph Northam, is one of them. Northam is a pediatric neurologist. He explained that Tran's bill would allow not just abortion at the moment of birth, but also killing the child after the child is born, infanticide, and that's okay.
It's done in cases where there may be severe deformities, there may be a fetus that's non-viable. So in this particular example, if a mother is in labor, I can tell you exactly what would happen. The infant would be delivered, the infant would be kept comfortable, the infant would be resuscitated if that's what the mother and the family desired, and then a discussion would ensue between the physicians and the mother.
Killing a child who's already been born, is that the new pro-choice position? Well, yesterday we invited professional Democrat on the show called Monica Klein and asked her to explain. We didn't get far in that. The conversation devolved immediately into a barrage of bumper sticker slogans about choice and coat hangers and Roe v. Wade. Here's a mercifully short selection of it in case you missed it. There's a point where the mother and the physician can decide whether to kill the infant or not. What do you think of that?
Look, Tucker, I understand that you want to go back to a time where Roe v. Wade was illegal, where women were having back alley abortions, and they were using. This isn't about babies. This isn't about health care. This is about you attempting to control women's bodies.
Okay. Please don't be a robot, Monica. You're smarter than that. This is the governor of Virginia just saying this. I just want to know what you think of it. Is that okay? Does that bother you? It's a sincere question. This just happened.
Okay, it bothers me that you are attempting to control women's bodies. This is about a woman's right to choose, and you as a man should not have a single say in that.
Wow. So it went on and on like that. Nobody learned a thing in the end. But the question remained, what exactly is the new Democratic position on abortion? It's worth talking about. We'd like to settle it tonight. Julie Alvin has worked at Time and Bustle, and she joins us. Julie Alvin, thanks a lot for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
So I think the video of the governor of Virginia, who was asked about it, by the way, at a press conference today and said he stood by everything he said. He didn't say that he misspoke. I think it evokes the obvious question, which is it okay, is it pro-choice to kill a child who's already been born? And so I asked that question of you.
I think that this has actually been a gross mischaracterization of Northam's comments, and he did clarify somewhat today what he meant. So basically what we're talking about is people who are seeking an abortion that late in their pregnancy are women who either are at severe health risk because of going through with the pregnancy or because their fetus is facing severe abnormalities. It may be incompatible with life. It may be unviable to live outside the womb. So I think that what he was talking about was an unviable fetus who has been delivered and is probably only going to survive outside of the womb for a short period of time. And that is a decision as far as how to proceed for those couple of hours between the physician and between the mother. He's not talking about a full-term healthy mother and a full-term healthy child giving birth and then committing infanticide following that birth. He's talking about a very specific set of circumstances. That's
actually not what he said. And of course, it wouldn't apply to mothers who faced a health risk from giving birth because the child has already been birthed. So
in this particular situation, that's true. But as far as this bill goes,
it is true. So no, I'm talking about Northam's comments. I think it's just so interesting because my impulse would be, well, that's obviously you don't have the right to kill a human being who didn't commit a crime, and so why would that be okay? But the impulse of so many is to defend this. So I'm confused. What are the standards? He said, and I think I'm quoting him exactly, profound abnormalities. He didn't say the child was going to die anyway. He said if the child's disabled, for example. That's a real thing. It's legal in some countries. Should it be legal here to kill a child who's disabled, and who gets to make that choice?
Well, I think that, again, you're mischaracterizing Northam's comments. He said that would be a discussion between the mother and physician. At no point did he say this child is going to be killed. So I think that you're mischaracterizing it, and I think that you're also mischaracterizing the fact that any person could potentially have this procedure. It is people who are in crisis and who are dealing with potentially an unviable fetus, who are dealing with severe birth defects. These women are in crisis themselves, and I believe that they deserve sympathy.
Okay, well, it's not that I don't have sympathy for the women or the doctor.
It certainly seems you have sympathy for neither party.
Asking adult questions, I think, is our obligation. Like, what is the standard? So what is the conversation that the doctor and her physician have? The conversation is, should the child live or die? And are you comfortable with killing? Because at this point, it's not a part of the woman's body. It's a distinct human being. And so any society has to ask itself, when is it okay to kill somebody? Why are we dodging this question? And when is it okay to kill somebody who's been born?
I think that, again, you're mischaracterizing the comments, and I think they very much were about a specific set of circumstances in which this baby was not going to live much longer, and it needed to be determined.
Okay, so you don't want to address that. You don't want to address the question. So under this law in Virginia and in the state of New York, a woman does not have to prove that her life is in danger, as you know. That's the change that has taken place, or that the child can't live outside the womb. And in both those states, it is now legal, or would be if this law in Virginia passes, to kill the child as the child's being born. Is that okay with you?
I don't think that you're characterizing this properly. So, for example, we're talking about... No, it's not true. I think we're talking about, for example, one procedure you're talking about is actually called dilation and extraction, and it happens in 2% of abortions. And it's typically something that happens when a mother has carried the baby full term and the baby is not going to survive. And
the law
it is an unfortunate situation. It is an unfortunate situation for the mother. It is an unfortunate situation for the child. Of course it's unfortunate by definition, but the law, you're mischaracterizing the law that was just signed by the governor of New York. It does not require that the child be in any way ill, about to die outside the womb. It doesn't mention any of that. It absolutely clarifies that the child needs to be in danger, to have severe abnormalities, to have fetal birth defects.
That is not true. And I'm quoting the law. It's the physician's good judgment. And so a child who has no abnormalities could be killed as the child is emerging from the birth canal. And I'm just asking, is that all right with you? It's a super simple question.
I mean, I think that if a physician were to say that a perfectly healthy child, is able to leave the womb and be killed, then no, that would not be okay with me. But I think that we're dealing with well-trained physicians.
But that would be legal.
I think that we are dealing with physicians who have signed an oth, who say that they are here to protect. You're dealing with physicians who are going to make a call that has to do with the viability of the fetus.
This doesn't make any sense. What is if it's a woman's body and her choice, then why are you letting some male physician make the decision for her? Why is it different?
Who's to say that it's a male physician? First of all, women can be doctors. I don't know if you're aware of that.
Of course I'm aware of that. If it's a woman's choice, why does the physician have a say in it?
I think that it's a conversation between the two of them, and I think Northam will say, and I think that anybody who is involved in this will say, that it is a conversation between the woman and her physician, and that's a decision that they make together. And this is why this is a private decision. It's something that needs to be happening in the hands of physicians and women, and it needs to not be in the hands of legislators who clearly don't really understand the process. But why should it be in the hands?
I don't understand, because no one will give me a straight answer to any of these questions. It's just
I'm working with you here, okay?
Okay, and I appreciate that, by the way. You tried, I think, a lot harder than anyone else I've talked to on the subject, and I appreciate that. Julie, thank you.
Sure.